Hi, this is Brian McHenry, McHenry Software. It's going to be a quick run through of a couple of items on Google Maps when you bring in Google Maps, scaling them and things like that. The first thing we were going to do is, of course, we hit pause on this. And there's two ways you can do a new project, obviously. Now with our being able to start up in graphics itself, there is up here, new project. See the little plus here? Just for other users, or if you're in the grid mode, I just want to show you what's in the grid mode. And of course, you can start directly from the grid mode. We go to project, new project appear on the top, and it can be a 2D or 3D, but this is to use uh, the new 3D graphics, which you can run 2D with also. But let's go back to the graphics, just because that's where we're doing things right now. So we plus new project, and we'll just call this a Google Map demo. And we go ahead and say, just click through here, because you can obviously click on your vehicles once you're in there. It brings up this brown where your background, and you want to go ahead, you can change that to a different color. You can bring in a picture, you can bring in Google Maps. Let's just do a Google Maps. I wanted to show you two things. If we go ahead and put in an intersection name about Scott and Main in Williamsville, New York. Brings up a picture of the area. Now we go ahead and hit satellite to bring in the satellite. Then we have the picture, the image. We say OK. Now one of the things we have to do is we go ahead and zoom out. And we would have to do a scale on that. And to scale it, you just click on the picture. And then you click over here on the image mat button right here. Click on that. You see down here it says set size from points on image. And then we would have to know something like the lane width. And let's just say that this lane width is, we'll go ahead and call that 11 feet. If you actually bring in terrain elevations, it does it the correct scale. One other thing I wanted to mention was that actually if you bring in from Google Maps from a web browser, and we're going to go ahead and bring this up, and let's go ahead and put that same Main and Scott, Williamsville, New York. One other thing I wanted to mention was that actually if you bring in from Google Maps from a web browser, and we're going to go ahead and bring this up, and let's go ahead and put that same Main and Scott, Williamsville, New York. So that brings it in. We zoom in again. Not exactly sure where it was, but let's just call it what, say here is the area. One thing that is in Google Maps, and I'll bring it to the middle here, you see down in the corner here as I zoom in and zoom out, it has a scale there. And that's something very good to know, so that you, if we bring this in, when we grab let's go ahead and go to satellite. So we have the scale back in the bottom corner. So now when we grab it, and I would recommend you use something like Snagit. And if we hit Snagit, we go print screen, and I can grab this whole image here. Then from Snagit, you see there's that image, and I can actually then go ahead and clip it so we don't have items on the top. And I guess I could have taken off the names of the roads and things like that. Let's go back there and do that. From Google Maps, you go to Menu and turn Labels off. Let's go ahead and grab that again. And let's actually just grab this area, but make sure we get down in that right corner the actual scale. The whole reason for saying this, now we go ahead and save this as Save As, and we'll save it to Images and just save that Main Scott. Now and here we can go ahead and remove that graphics. Say let's get out of there. Now we can go in and say, instead of grabbing it from Google Maps, unless you need the elevation, if you need the elevation, again, it comes in scaled. but we go ahead and grab that. We go to msmac3D images. That was called msmac. And you can, obviously you have it anywhere on your computer, msmac. You say OK. Now when we go click again on image drape, size from image, now we know that this here, from here to here, is 50 feet. And what that can do, if one other thing that you can do with that is now when we go overhead again, let's put this overhead. Now we need to have a little bigger picture, so we're going to go out here and say right now it's 222. Let's make that at about 500. First question we want to know is, well, what was that center lane? And if we click on this, go to size points from image, we find that that center image was about 11 feet, so we weren't that bad on our scale. But one other thing you can do here, which because we're limited in our size here, let me move this down a little so you can see, there's also the ability to set the angle. So I can say set angle, and what I'm going to do is take a line from here to here and say OK. And now you notice it has scaled it and has it so it's straight like that. So again, the scaling, wanted to mention that in Google Maps in the bottom corner, and I guess we don't have the full map showing here, so we can make this a little larger, 1100. And there's your scale. One other thing for when you're bringing in pictures, if you have a very high resolution, there's the gear here where there's a number of options. And in the ground, you notice that the default is only 4,000 pixels or 4K. We set it to 11. If you need more, you can set it here. We just have a default, and obviously if you have a much larger picture, you run into any problems, you can set this to a larger amount. Well, that was all the discussion we wanted to do about Google Maps, and just a couple of quick tips on scaling them, and then also the fact that from the Google Map you can actually get a scale. Thank you for watching.